Hello everyone, now today we're here to talk about the 7th and latest installment from the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe, which is Shazam. So this movie follows a 14-year-old foster child named Billy Batson, played by Ashley Angel. Now he gets sent to a foster home to stay with 5 other foster children and later on gets teleported into the Rock of Eternity, which is the lair of the Egyptian wizard Shazam, played by the Jaimon Hanso. So in the lair, Shazam passes his powers on to Billy, allowing him to transform into a magic Superman just by calling the wizard's name. Now the magic Superman is played by Zachary Levi, whom I think did an excellent job playing a 14-year-old kid, in a 30-something-year-old body. And throughout the rest of the movie, it shows what a 14-year-old brat would do, like Billy, what a brat like Billy would do with superpowers, while being pursued by the main antagonist of the movie, who is Dr. Savannah, played by Mark Strong. Now, I have to say, right off the bat, that this movie was the most lighthearted, kid-friendly, and entertaining DC movie that I have watched so far. Now, apart from what I've just said about this movie, I was hugely surprised that this film was predominantly geared to a much younger audience, because the trailer, the soundtrack and the clips used in the trailers kind of gave me the impression that this movie is going to be as adult-oriented as DC's previous movies like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Man of Steel, but that wasn't the case. Throughout the first half of the movie was kind of confusing for me because it was showing it in a more, again, kid-friendly way, and I was thinking that it was going to be as adult-oriented, so it was a confusing moment for me, throughout the first half of the movie. But I'm not saying that I don't like this approach. In fact, I actually like it because, as Shazam is a movie revolving mostly around children and teenagers, I would find it essential for this movie to be mainly targeting a much younger age group. By doing so, this movie will be much fun and relatable to them, as well as getting them to like Shazam as a superhero. Now, diving into the plot, while it is straightforward, there were numerous extremely comical moments that were able to transit pretty nicely to defining ones that gives the movie a good amount of depth. However, I find some of the scenes to be sloppy, as they appear to show the characters having little to no challenge or struggles within those scenes, even though there naturally had to at least be some of it within those scenes. So it was also kind of a bummer when that happened. I was also hoping for the final act to have happened on a larger scale, though it was great. Now, my final problem I have with this movie would be what they did with Dr. Savannah. Now, I'm not saying that Dr. Savannah is a terrible supervillain in this movie. In fact, I would think that he is undoubtedly one of the best supervillains that I've seen so far among all the other DC movies. But, especially that Mark Strong did a superb job portraying him. However, I felt that they could have done more with him as, a supervillain, in terms of the amount of chaos that he could have brought into this movie, the amount of impact that he could have made on the development of Billy Batson as in terms of his character, as well as allowing him to truly understand what it means to be a superhero. I would just think that if they actually were a bit more careful within those sloppy scenes, and also set up a bigger stage for the final act, as well as doing more with Dr. Savannah, then, even though the movie would be slightly longer, I would have definitely enjoyed this movie much more. But nevertheless, I would still think that Shazam is unquestionably one of the best DC movies that I have ever watched so far. And also, I want to add that I'm really glad that this movie is finally out, that they finally managed to make this movie possible, managed to bring Shazam into the cinematic universe, as this movie actually began its development back in the early 2000s, but was delayed for many years due to complications, and until it was officially announced in 2014 and filming began in 2018. And despite all these things going on, they still managed to make this movie work. It has great acting, great settings, great visuals, great direction. Despite not being as great as I was hoping for it to be, but it's a great example of a superhero movie. How a movie, how a superhero movie is supposed to be made. Therefore, after watching this movie, I will definitely be looking forward to catching the next few DC movies. Well, hoping to see Black Adam or maybe a crossover between Shazam and the other DC characters. Now, I know some of you guys might be questioning if Shazam was better than Marvel's Captain Marvel. Well, I have to say Marvel's Captain Marvel because, well, Shazam is kind of known as Captain Marvel in DC as well. So in my opinion, I think that Shazam is definitely better than Captain Marvel. Yeah, I said it, yep. So I think that's all I want to say about this movie. I would definitely recommend anyone who is into superhero movies to go catch Shazam, because it is, well, one of the best DC movies so far, again, and it's very entertaining. Now, once again, thank you guys very much for taking your time off to to watch this review, and also, well, feel free to drop in your comments, about this movie, and, well, I'll see you guys soon, as I will be going outside now, looking for a random old man, and hopefully that he will give me superpowers and that I will not be mugged.